Hello there. Today we are looking at nutrient needs of animals. What do they need to survive? To start out with, how would you describe the perfect cow pie? What should it look like? What does it tell us about the cow's health? Go ahead and answer that. So the perfect cow pie, we're looking at one that sets up kind of cake-like on the outside and is soupy in the center. That's perfect. What it tells us is that they're getting enough liquid in their diet, that they're processing their food a lot or well, and that they're not being overfed or underfed. So let's look at what that actually means. So what nutritional needs do you have? Go ahead and answer it. Do you think your nutritional needs are the same or different than what animals have? Explain your answer. So the nutritional needs that animals have are water, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and carbohydrates. Lo and behold, the same thing as what you and I need. Maybe the quantities and how they get them is different, but in all actuality, we need the same stuff. We're animals too, for goodness sakes, anyways. So, water. Water, of course, is a combination of liquid combination of hydrogen and oxygen. But what they need it for is respiration, digestion, assimilation, which is the taking of the nutrients into the body tissues, transportation through the digestive system of nutrients and waste, and regulating body temperature because water cools us down. Whether it's sweating or a dog panting, water is going to be what cools the body. If you are lacking on water, your body can actually rise in temperature and make you ill. Next up, you can guess from the picture, is proteins. Proteins, they're made of amino acids, and it's our only source of nitrogen. In our protein group, we have amino subclasses of those amino acids, and we have essential and non-essential. Essential, we have to provide because they need them in great enough quantities. Non-essential, they are actually going to get from other amino acids. Things that it actually does in the body is repairing organs that way and tissues, so making them healthier. It's also going to affect hair, hooves, nails, feathers. It's milk production, any of our production animals, milk, wool, eggs. You have to have a lot of protein in those diets so that they can actually produce those products. And then it's also a major component of DNA. Carbohydrates are up next. They are made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Kind of makes sense. Carbohydrates. They are sugars, starches, and fibers. So in our diet, it would be like breads and potatoes and things of that nature. In animals, a lot of the grasses and hays have, and our grains have those in it. They provide energy. This is fast energy. This is the stuff that gets burned up really quickly. That's why maybe if you are kind of feeling low at the start of the class period and you eat a piece of candy, it's all sugar, and then you feel pretty good after that. You kind of get some energy, you get going, and then an hour or so later, you kind of drop. That's because you used up that energy quickly. So this is still very important, and we have to have it in our diet, but it's not the long-term energy. It is going to help with body heat. So it's actually warming up the body where water cools it. So in winter, it's important to have those carbohydrates. And then the one flip side is if you are feeding more carbohydrates than what they can burn, it's going to store as fat. And so that's when their weight will change. The next up is our fats, and these are good fats. These are things that we need. So fats are also an energy source, but they are long-term. These include your oils, your animal fats, and they're still made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but it's how they are put together that makes them different. They produce 2.25 times the amount of energy that a carbohydrate does. So this is your long-term energy. It's kind of like when you're picking breakfast foods. If you pick something that's a high-fat food versus just a high-carb food, it lasts longer. Maybe some of you eat cereal for breakfast and you're hungry mid-morning or an hour later, where if you eat something like your bacons and eggs and things like that, yes, they have proteins, but they also have higher fat. They tend to last you longer. These are also body heat, and some vitamins are requiring fat to be taken into the system, into the tissues. Minerals are next. These are just two examples I have up here. A salt block and then a mineral block, ways that we get them to animals. We also have loose minerals, but they are made up of macro and micronutrients. So macro, they need in large scale. Look at that list: calcium, phosphorus, sodium, potassium, chlorine or chloride, magnesium, and sulfur. Those are things that we need too. I mean, think about all the calcium we need in our diet. We have to have sodium in our diet. It makes them want to eat. Micro are, a lot of those are metals where we still need them in our diet, but we're probably getting them from another source. Just like animals eating grasses and hays and things like that, they're picking that up. That's iron, iodine, copper, cobalt, fluorine, manganese, zinc, molybdenum, selenium, and chromium. These are for, I mean, think about what calcium does for us. So teeth, skin, the skeleton, when they're growing, they're young, they're going to need more minerals. Enzymes for and hormones, they transmit pulses in the nervous system, body tissues, all those things rely on our minerals. And it's interesting enough, the smallest mineral that you are short in could be a big issue in the body. For some reason, I had repeated that last slide, so I just kind of skipped it. Vitamins are also very important. We have two types of vitamins. We have fat soluble and water soluble. Fat soluble have to have that fat to take it into the system. Water soluble have to have water in the system to be able to use them. So A, D, E, and K include fat soluble. C and B include, or the B complex include water soluble. These regulate body functions, they including digestion, absorption, metabolism of nutrients. They are going to help regulate the new cell development, vision, bones, hair, feathers, skin, all of that. They also are going to help fight against disease. So having, making sure they have good vitamins in the winter when maybe their system is a little more compromised in other ways is very important. Plus, they're not really eating a lot of fresh grass at that time. They're mostly eating hay that's been stored in a barn. So getting vitamin supplements sometimes is a necessity, especially in the young animals. That's where we're going to cut it off today. Next week, we will be adding in our like nutrient need levels. We also on Friday are going to start looking at, or Monday, if you're a gold student, start looking at Pearson Square, which is how we calculate feed rations. So we're doing a little bit of math in here. You might want to make sure you have a calculating device. You can use this as your calculating device, or you can use an actual calculator. But we're going to be doing 4 basic math functions: adding, subtracting, dividing, and multiplying. All right. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon.